Hello, welcome to INSITE, that is the Individual and Social Influences of Technology Lab at the University of Ottawa in Canada. I'm Sarah, a media creator assistant at the INSITE Lab, and today we're going to talk about a project that Stephanie Jewin, a research assistant at the lab, did on personality and sexual self-disclosure in 2019 and 2020. This project was for the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program at the University of Ottawa. Sexual self disclosure is a critical aspect of sexual communication. What is it? Sexual self disclosure refers to people's willingness to share aspects of their sexuality with a sexual partner. Researchers have found that personality traits relate to certain computer mediated sexual communications or sexual communication that occurs through the use of at least two electronic devices. For instance, there are at least four studies on how the big five personality traits, that is, conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness, and extroversion, or CANOE for short, predict sexting and online sexual activities. In most of these studies, researchers found that people who are high in extroversion and neuroticism and low in agreeableness and conscientiousness were more willing to sext, meaning they were more likely to send a sexually suggestive photo or a photo in underwear or lingerie or a nude photo to another person through an electronic device. Additionally, in 2020, researchers Liu and Zhang found that people who were high in extroversion, openness, and neuroticism were more likely to engage in online sexual activities such as viewing sexual explicit material, seeking sexual partners, cybersex, and flirting online. Although the literature suggests that the Big Five personality traits relate to sexting and online sexual activities, we do not know how the Big Five predict or relate to online sexual self disclosure. We know even less about whether the Big Five relates to online sexual self disclosure in the same way as offline sexual self disclosure. So, Stephanie's research questions for this study were: 1. Do participants sexually self disclose to a sexual partner in online and offline contexts? 2. How much do participants' personality based on the Big Five personality traits relate to their willingness to share aspects of their sexuality with a sexual partner in A. Online context and B. Offline context? And 3, if participants' personality traits do not relate to their willingness to sexually self-disclose to a sexual partner in online and or offline contexts, what are some possible factors aside from personality that may have played a greater role in participants' willingness to sexually self-disclose in A, online context and B, offline contexts? To look into sexual self disclosure in further detail, Marilyn, a graduate student at the INSITE Lab, and Morgan, a research assistant in the lab, conducted a study in 2019 and 2020 to examine the extent to which people sexually self disclose to a sexual partner in an online and offline context. In Stephanie's sample, she had 216 participants aged 18 to 40 years old. Of the 216 participants, 111 had a sexual partner at the time of the study, and 103 had a sexual partner in mind while they answered our questions. All participants had experience using the internet for at least 1 to 5 years. Participants completed an online survey that was part of a bigger study that Marilyn and Morgan were working on at the time. For Stephanie's study, she focused on participants' responses to two scales in the survey, specifically the Sexual Self Disclosure Scale, known as the SSD scale, and the Mini International Personality Item Pool, or the Mini IPIP. The SSD scale assessed the frequency of participants' willingness to discuss topics of their sexuality with a sexual partner. Researchers administered the scale twice to assess their participants' discussions that happened via typed technology and in person with a sexual partner. The mini IPIP assessed aspects of participants' personality based on the Big Five personality traits. Overall, participants in Stephanie's study disclosed a few aspects of their sexual preferences to a sexual partner, whether they were in an online or offline context. The range in the SSD scale was from 0 to 12, with higher scores indicating that participants discussed more sexual topics to a sexual partner. Participants reported telling a sexual partner about 2 topics online and 2.5 topics offline on average. This means that participants in the study disclosed a bit less, or precisely 0.5 less, to the sexual partner online than offline. The age of participants may explain why people disclose less aspects of their sexual preferences to a sexual partner. In fact, most of the participants were between 18 to 20 years old. Perhaps young people are less likely to disclose because they do not have enough sexual experiences to know their own sexual preferences. Further, None of the big five personality traits related to online sexual self disclosure, meaning that the personality traits did not predict online sexual self disclosure in this study. This suggests that other factors, aside from personality, have played a greater role in online sexual self disclosure. For example, perhaps the discussions participants had with a sexual partner over type technology did not foster enough intimacy for them to disclose certain aspects of their sexual preferences due to lack of physical proximity and no face to face contact. However, it may also be because participants reported little online sexual self disclosure to begin with, as Stephanie established in her first research question. Finally, agreeableness and openness showed a significant positive effect on offline sexual self disclosure. These results may be partly due to the fact that sexuality is still a taboo topic that is often avoided in offline contexts. So, participants who are more agreeable and more open tend to sexually self disclose more to a sexual partner offline. Perhaps agreeable people go along with their partner's initiative to sexually self disclose rather than initiate it themselves. Additionally, it is likely that people who are more open sexually self-disclose more because they are more open to learning about their partner and or exploring aspects of their sexuality. Before I end this video, I would like to thank Stephanie Jewin for collaborating with me to create a video on the research project she did about personality and sexual self-disclosure. Please note that this research project has not yet been published in a peer-reviewed journal. And that's it for today. Please share this video, subscribe for more, and expand your knowledge with us.